Tesla out with one of the, I think, objectively worst quarters I've seen from a manufacturer in a while. Um, all the stuff you would typically look at, like, I don't know, free cash flow, inventory trends, just show this manufacturer just screams a manufacturer that is overproducing vehicles. They're making more vehicles they can sell. A quarter of automotive revenue sitting in, like, a full quarter's worth of automotive revenue sitting in inventory. That is not the Tesla model, right? Like, usually the Tesla model is you're supposed to pre-order. It's supposed to almost be a negative working. Well, for a while it was, a lot of the cash that they generated was basically from negative working capital, right? They were pre-selling vehicles, getting deposits, all this kind of stuff. And 2 years later, you finally got your car, and they knew exactly what they were building with. Now they're basically, like any other OEM, building extra cars to try and sell through discounting. And Musk has even made tweets to that effect. I think the short interest in this name ramped into what was such a obviously terrible quarter and incremental price cuts for this quarter, because the outlook just can't be that great, right? You're incrementally cutting prices. So you saw, tens of millions of additional shares get shorted into it. I think that's the pop we're seeing in the pre-market, because the earnings call was, for the most part, like every other earnings call, where they make cars, 90+% of revenue is from costs and R&D. All that stuff is actually involved in all the capex. It's all about cars. They are a car maker, and instead they talk about autonomy and the exact same. You could listen, if you play that conference call, like the first 20 minutes, it'd be very hard for an analyst to say, oh no, that's 2024, not 2018, right? Like, because they just keep repeating the same bullshit over and over again. In this particular call, because the stock went down, I think because they canceled, there was reports of canceling a cheaper new model of car. They introduced this idea that they're going to, it's not even quite clear, mix and match the existing models with some new elements and introduce like a cheaper, vehicle, basically on the same line that they have. And this got some questions on the Q&A, and the answer was basically, we've said all we'll say about that, which is, if you had a cool idea for a new car, first they would have rolled it out and showed it to you. That's the Tesla way. They usually roll it out and show it to you, even if they're not even going to make it. I mean, they never made a Roadster 2, let alone, they put the Semi out like years before they produced it. They put out the Cybertruck many years before they actually produced any of them. They're still subscale and producing that. So the Quad, there's like a million items like that where they would show you the cool prototype and kind of hype it instead of just alluding to this mix and matched car that will come in. But I think that got people excited and covering, because it's ambiguous, right? Like, oh, maybe on August, because they have this analyst day coming up on August 8th, maybe they will have something. But what's actually going on in the financial analysis, like what's going on, what's happening in the factories, is they are producing too many cars. People are buying fewer cars. Sales are down year over year pretty noticeably. And they have no new models to drive sales growth. The only lever they have is price, and they're cutting price. And the reason they're cutting price is because there are so many competing vehicles, especially in China, where the idea of introducing a cheaper vehicle is not a great one. There's a lot of competition in the cheaper electric vehicle space. So I'm not, that's a key market for Tesla. And in the US, there are other, competing platforms that it isn't obvious they come out with anything particularly successful, especially if it just looks like a cheap Model 3. I'm not exactly sure that's what these people want. So we are seeing, the stock up higher on what are obviously, they missed on EPS at 34 cents versus 45 expected. But really the internals are awful in terms of inventory and cash flow. Kind of confirming that 34 isn't even sustainable, right? That 34 is generated by overproducing vehicles, right? They're building a lot of extra cars to keep unit costs low, so that when they sell them with price discounts, they're not as painful as they otherwise would be. A new local low for margins, just everything is going the wrong way. But I think you have a little bit of a short squeeze here. I am not a believer in this, the idea that this story is turned in any way. They don't have that car, otherwise they would have shown it to you. So I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, I mean, you heard, I don't know if you heard my comments to start the call, did you, on just like, what the stock's been down? You obviously know what it's been down, but
yeah. Traded into numbers. It's always risky.
I mean, this stock absolutely collapsed. I mean, you're talking about a stock that since the end of December alone was down 45%. And we're talking about like this, when you go to the circus, you find Tesla bag holders. Like when this is when people talk about a stock up 10% or squeezing, or like there's literally headlines saying short sellers lose $150 billion. I mean, it's like, well, they just made $800 billion. I mean, it's like, it's so bad, and but yet so emblematic of the circus that we're in with this thing, and with the storytelling. And like, there's a guy last night, I was driving back from a dinner, and or maybe I was driving to the dinner, and like live commentary on this coming out of the call on Fast Monkey. Gene something
Monster.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking like levels of professional embarrassment that I don't know if could be achieved with a straight face. Like he at one point said, "Look, you either believe or you don't. It's like a religion." Like, he literally said that. I mean, we're talking about like one of CNBC's top experts, according to them, on this stock. And it's all about believing or not. It's not about the numbers. It's nuts.
Yeah. In the long run, it will be about the numbers and the products and the competition, and the people they lost their head of IR. He's leaving. I think it would be a very hard. I mean, even Ross Gerber is having a hard time pitching the Tesla story.
Well, now they're even these perma bulls are on Tesla, who literally made their names on Tesla. Like, who the fuck is Gerber? Like, Ross Gerber, right? These are the people that are like, haha, stock go up. Like the thing was at $409 at the peak. And again, you have to be up 185% from yesterday's close to recoup that number. I mean, it's a very, very, I mean, you can go back, and we're going to go back. We will go back. Everyone will go back. But history, you don't get to tell history's story. People try. But when we go back and we look at Henry Blodgett in 1999, 2000, I mean, he was a supersized version and overly compensated and obviously handcuffed version to a degree of whoever this guy Gene Munster is. I mean, but they're still the same thing, right? It just shows how gullible and how stupid are you allowed to be in the crowd of Wall Street and be celebrated for that stupidity because you just believe. I mean, it's nuts, man. Like, I think this whole reaction, the whole kind of characterization of the bounce is just in line with macrotourism, in line with the circus, in line with everything that I believe, which is gravity. And I don't know how these people get themselves out of it. I mean, you're going to have Kathy Wood capitulate, Gerber capitulate. Like, who's that other guy, that other donut, who's always just garrulous? Yeah, Gary Black. Like, who Gary Black? Like, who are you? Like, what did you ever achieve? You never generated any alpha ever, and you just garrulously tweet about Tesla your whole life. I mean, is that your life? Do you have grandkids? I mean, these are really embarrassing moments where these people could have all this morning thrown in the towel, right? Like, why wouldn't you throw in the towel? If your prior bull case on Tesla, like, I'd love to rewind the tapes on what Gene Munster was saying at $400 a share about the forward outlook on orders, revenues, inventories, right? Dead wrong, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that those people won't even get through the legal section of the 10Q today. If I had to guess. It takes a long time.
Why would you? If all you have to do is just believe. Like, this is it's beyond the bubble of 1999, 2000, because there are far more people that are affected by it, because there are far more people that participated in this stock that just believe, right? I have plenty of friends who think Elon Musk is is some version of my Jesus Christ. I mean, like that's what they think. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Have you read have you read Isaacson's book about him? Oh no, but I think he's cool. Did you know this? Oh no. They just believe, right? It's the definition of insanity. When it comes, again, you can believe in whatever you want. That's the whole point, right? It requires no experience, no knowledge, no financial analysis to just believe. I mean, you can believe whatever you want. You can believe the cow jumps over the moon. I mean, you can believe whatever you want. But in financial analysis and risk management, that is not the case. And I just, again, a little bit beside myself this morning, just talking this through here. I don't know if it doesn't change this morning for Gene Munster or whoever the hell this guy is and all those people. I don't think it ever will, Jay.
I think that nothing changes sentiment like stock price, and at a certain price, eventually people capitulate, and it's usually a lot more pain than you would have otherwise guessed. But there's already been a lot of pain. I think this is a silly bounce, but I'll be wrong today on Tesla, as it is up $16 in the pre-market, but on a truly astoundingly negative earnings report. I'll leave it there.
Again, be wrong. You're so humble about this, and that's why I'm still going to go on this. You're wrong today. That's saying, like, let's bring it back to the real world. Like, this is like, it's a Stanley Cup playoff game last night, and it's not a 4-3 game. Like, this isn't Rangers win 4-3. This is, you're down 12-0, and they score a goal with 2 minutes left, and they call that a win. And you're sitting there saying, I know I'm not right on that one goal. I mean, it's that's what it is. I mean, maybe more like 8. It's 8-0, right? Because from here, just to get back to where you were in December to 261, you have to be up, inclusive of the 10% bounce. You got to be up another 72% to get the game back to tied at 8-8.
And you're in an up market, so you've been underperforming, even if you were flat.
And your entire prior thesis, Gary Black, or whatever the fuck you're tweeting about every day of your life, like for years, is wrong. Like the fundamental outlook on how many cars this company could sell and what their margin was going to be and what multiple you slap onto those revenues, like, couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah. They used to talk about how they had the highest margins in the auto industry, and that's in part because they consolidate the dealer network, and really can't make that argument anymore. They've given all that away. Their revenues are down year over year. The EPS are down, 50-something%, and they're going to be worse this quarter. I don't know how you get to, like, it also has we're supposed to be securities analysts and investors in a business, and this is a business with a totally ludicrous governance structure. Not only did the IR guy resign, but you have, like, the guy's brother on the board. You got his, like, buddies that he goes out with, right? He's extorting the company to try and get a $55 billion pay package back. Most people haven't looked at the details of the case, but it isn't exactly flattering. So you have no governance here whatsoever. It's not like it pays a dividend, right? So, you're just participating in this thing that makes this one guy really rich.
Great. He gets rich while these like the rest of the clowns at the circus, just keep doing the same act, no matter what the data says. Just great. All right.
Hey there, Hedgeye Nation, or if you're not part of Hedgeye Nation, thanks for watching Hedgeye on YouTube. If you haven't already, make sure to click on the button below there. Subscribe to our YouTube page. You can also follow the link in the description to our website to get even more great investing content.